My name is Greg Marsh with bettereyesightnow.com, and this is a webinar. We've got a bunch of people here, and we'll do a Q&A format, questions and answers. And here, let's already start. If you're on the phone, I'm just kind of swaying back and forth, and just notice it. You know, how many of you have had a little bit of a stressful day? As you sway back and forth, and the more you sway, the more you just, it's as if you're being swayed. See, there's a way, I'll exaggerate, where, you know, I'm like the nutcrackers in the Nutcracker suite, you know, that's robotic. But no, it's more like a hula, or more like a pendulum that's just swinging us. And so as we're doing this is, you can feel it. It's relaxing your mind. And when your mind relaxes, I just did this a minute ago where I squeezed the balloon representing the eye. And so, you know, it's gripping like this. And so the idea is that we want to help it let go, so that it can just naturally do what it does and see clearly. So what I'd like to do tonight is see if together, really all of us, even if you don't ask a question, and just through your listening and your let's say energy contribution, that we can kind of weave a tapestry of deeper understanding together of the Bates method and how imagination and relaxation and breathing and, you know, just other aspects, how these all work together, so that we can get cured of this Western idea that we got to work at it, because that's backwards. So that's what we'll do this evening, and or morning, or whenever you're listening to this. So let's see, Laura's helping me out here. Okay, hi Keith.
Hey Greg, can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, great. I don't see you anymore, but you can hear me.
It shows that your video thing is gone.
Oh,
I don't know what that means. Let me just ask Laura now. Laura, you can see me, right? If I unmute you a second?
Yes, I can.
Yeah,
okay.
I see you now, Greg.
Oh, okay. The miracle of the internet. So Laura said that I kind of answered a question last time. What was?
So I've been wearing glasses for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started doing the Bates method because I saw your videos for about 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And my question was, when I did the swing, it almost looked like I was looking through a wavy pane of glass, like from the 1700s.
Oh, I saw your question. And
yeah.
And so my question to you, which is really important, is, was that a pleasing sensation?
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. Cool. Yeah.
And did it actually feel sort of magical or annoying, or?
No, it's just if I relax my eyesight,
cool.
Everything gets wavy, and it doesn't hurt. And I just didn't know if that was normal.
You are very abnormal. No. You're special. You know, I've heard all different things, and you know, the thing is, I kind of learned this in martial art, is if we define something too tight and say, well, you should feel this, and then you should feel that, and then you have this sensation, and when you practice it more, then you feel this other very elevated sensation. And, you know, I just don't think the real world works like that. But I remembered seeing your question written down, and I sensed from the way you wrote it that it's probably a very, very pleasing, and could become even more pleasing. Again, you're saying when you do the lung swing, it's kind of wavy.
Yep.
Yeah. And assuming you don't have some dire or strange eye problem that's going on, that sounds wonderful to me.
Okay, good. I just wasn't sure if that was normal.
Well, special. Actually, we're all special, and that's finding our way into that. So yeah, I would say it's it's a good thing. And who's to say what normal is? See, that's one of the whole things about eyesight is people have this idea that 20/20 is normal vision. 20/20 is completely random. There was this guy named Snellen, the Snellen eye chart, a Dutch guy, and I believe it was in the late 1800s. He wanted to develop a reference for how well people could see, and he had an assistant who could see pretty well. So he had his assistant stand at 6 meters away, and then he said, "Which letter can you see clearly?" And that became the standard for the whole world, Snellen's assistant, for what's so-called normal vision.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So it's like, some people that grow up in the country wind up being a sharpshooter or a pilot, in the Air Force or something. They might have like 20/10 as normal. So who knows what normal is for eyesight? Who knows what normal is for the swing? But the cool thing about when you're doing the swing is to feel like you're exploring and discovering and just really feels good, relaxing.
Does.
Yeah.
I also like sunning as well. I like the sun. Just close your eyes and relax.
Nice.
And palming. Those three I do often.
Well, you just named the essential core of the Bates method, and then there's waves of all kinds of subtleties and nuances from there. But if you can fall in love with those three, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thanks so much, Keith.
Thanks, Greg.
It was nice talking to you.
Same here.
Oh, and just for fun, now where are you from?
Oh, I'm right outside Boston.
Boston.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. It's just fun to know where people are coming from. So, okay, well, happy swinging, palming, sunning, and all that.
Thanks, Greg.
Okay. Okay. Hello, admin.
Hello.
Oh, could you speak a little louder?
Hello.
Hi. Hi, and what's your real name?
Sorry, I'm Esther.
Esther. Okay. Yeah, well, welcome, Esther. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
These work very well for presbyopia. And, not to sound like a snake oil salesman who says everything works, this is like you rub it here and it makes your skin good. You rub it in your eyes, it makes you see well. You rub it on your brain, it makes you really smart. But the Bates method, basically what's going on here, I'll get out my trusty balloon, that's my trademark, is, basically the idea of Dr. Bates is that, our eyeball wants to be totally relaxed and round. And when it's time for this muscle to flex, to turn the eye up or that way, or when we turn our head, it kind of rotates this way. Wait a minute, maybe, yeah. It rotates this way so that we still see on the level, at least the first few degrees. So there's 6 muscles that do that. There's another muscle inside the eye around the lens that has a lot to do with presbyopia. And if any of these muscles get a little tight, like, let me ask you, Esther, do you ever have where you get, your neck gets a little tight from stress or anything like that?
Yes, a lot.
Okay. Well, see, the cool thing is, as you relax whatever muscles are involved here, you're now, see, the idea of the Bates method is that they get contorted. So I'm exaggerating here. But now when they relax, then they go back and they have this easy ability to focus and fine tune. It's just like this automatic, really high-tech apparatus, except it's in our eye. and it just totally knows how to do that. But then when we're stressed, it gets too long or too short or a little bit warped, and then that's when we get things like presbyopia or nearsightedness or another version of farsightedness or astigmatism, and on and on. So many people have gotten out of reading. Do you use reading glasses?
Yes.
Yeah, many people have gotten out of them, and or use them much less, much more rarely. And it's just keep following tonight, and we'll do a couple of activities that'll cause you to see a little more clearly, and that'll give you faith, and then you can keep going from there.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, well, thank you. Oh, I didn't ask you, where are you from?
New York City.
New York City, like Manhattan, or
I live in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn? Cool. Yeah. Well, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. I had watched the YouTube and I was hooked.
Great.
One of your YouTube videos.
Great. Well, thanks for coming back for more.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll change you back to a viewer. Hi, Meredith.
Hello.
Oh, well, greetings.
Hi.
Yeah. And where are you from?
I'm from San Juan Capistrano.
Wow. That sounds very extravagant.
And it's a beautiful place.
Wow. I bet it is. I'm sure I've seen pictures of it, but yeah. Well, thanks for bringing that good energy from there.
Sure.
Yeah. Now you asked, or here, I'll let you ask in your own words.
So when I'm reading something, and I like to read a lot. So when I'm reading, I noticed that I tend to move. So I thought, well, why don't I just sway? So if I'm sitting, I'll move the chair. Some of my chairs are swinging chairs. So I'll swing it back and forth.
Oh, that's great. That's really great.
I wondered if that was the right thing to do.
That is stunning. I bet it feels nice to be in them when you're reading, right?
It does, because I noticed that the background is like moving. I thought, okay, it's supposed to have that kind of perception that something else is moving when I'm doing something. And so I thought maybe that's good for me to do that.
Yeah.
It is, huh? Okay.
So here, let's just run a couple of experiments.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have a book that you can hold in front of you?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Okay. So everybody go along with this. And by the way, these questions are going to probably go the whole spectrum, but you can, even if it doesn't seem to be answering your question, by following what we're doing and kind of putting your heart into it and going along and resonating with whoever's talking, you'll get facility with all this. You'll see. It'll be really helpful. And so for reading, just for fun, we could even do one where we move the book a little bit, right?
Yeah, I do that.
Okay, cool. You are the innovator. Very good, Meredith. Yeah. So, and as you do that, it's like your peripheral vision feels really nicely stimulating, and that's really relaxing for your mind, isn't it?
It is. It actually is. That's why I thought it might be good to do, but I wasn't sure.
Okay, and then we could swing the whole shebang, ourself and the book, and the swinging chair,
yes,
or whatever.
I am.
And do you find that one more helpful, less helpful, just different?
More. Actually, I like it more.
Okay.
But I have to say, when I'm doing that one, then my eyes are steady on the page. Yet when I am doing move the book one, my eyes have to just do a different activity to follow it. Yeah. So those are actually two different types of things.
Or two different doorways, or two different nuances.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. But I would say just pretend that you can really be dialed into your eyes and notice that they're vibrating. If you
Okay.
just stare, they're not going to be vibrating. Would you agree?
Right. I agree.
Okay. And now if you're doing the one where you're swinging the book,
Okay.
you know, now do your eyes feel like they're kind of vibrating?
Yes, they do.
Okay. And for some people that might be kind of subtle, but just pretend that you can feel your eyes just kind of like a cat purring. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's
Okay.
interesting because that makes me ask this other question about the eyes and vibrating. Because when I do a slow swing and I keep my eyes open to just swing back and forth, two things happen. They've actually improved, but at first it irritated my eyelids, like the follicles. It was like, oh, itch them. So I'm not there anymore. But what happens is I get almost immediately, what's the right word for you're falling asleep. It makes my mind go numb, like a sleepiness. Like I really want to just close my eyes and go to sleep. It's like that feeling.
Well, it's like, that's cool. I'm really glad you raised that question. And let me say it back to you. So you're saying when you do a really slow swing, apparently you've been investigating this for a little while.
Yeah.
But when you did a really slow swing, at first it was kind of annoying. And it would cause irritation with your follicles of your eyelid.
Yeah, it's actually the follicles.
Okay. So I often like to think of some of these techniques, especially maybe the swing, as sometimes it's a homeopathic remedy.
Oh, yeah.
And or analogous to a homeopathic remedy. And here, let me wrap this in another container that's some people would relate to. And that is, if somebody gets car sickness or, dizziness, or, if they're on a boat, they get seasick, then likely when they do the swing, and I'm guessing that might not apply to you. Is that right, Meredith? Or
What might not apply to me?
Car sickness, seasickness.
Oh, I can. It doesn't happen all the time, but I can get that. Yeah.
Okay, so consider this. So let's say you're doing the swing, and here's what I mean about the homeopathic is, if somebody's doing the swing for a while, they might start to get, like they're gonna throw up, I guess is the gentle words to use. And so when I see somebody like that, I always get excited and say, wow, I have really good news for you. If you'll do this swing, not quite to the throw up point, but if you'll do it just, kind of to the pre-throw up point,
Yeah.
and just do it every day, then, and I've seen this again and again, then you'll get within 2 or 3 weeks to where you're a different person. You're a person with where the dizziness is absent.
Okay.
And
that's it then.
And that's why I say it's kind of homeopathic, because homeopathic being where a little bit of the poison is the cure.
Got it. Yeah, I know.
And so you did that exactly with the irritated hair follicles.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's brilliant. And so yeah.
But the
that's
sleep thing is crazy because it actually stops me from doing it, because I'll get so dopey feeling. I go, okay, stop, just sit down. And then when I get up again, it's some somnambulance. What's that word? Somnambulant. There's that funny word that means really sleepy. It's like that. And it's an odd feeling. So I guess maybe the same thing.
Okay, well, that's a good question too. And not that I'm like Mr. Expert on this, but I, I've done a lot of meditation, and that was real wrapped in doing martial art and trying to teach meditation, which is an oxymoron because you can only, explore.
Right.
So, one thing I remember, I was doing a longer session of meditation, and I started becoming grotesquely ill.
Oh.
Or it's like and it's, it was very uncool to leave the room. Well, I left the room because I was going to throw up.
Yeah.
And as soon as I got out of the room, I had this aha. It's my brain playing tricks on me.
Okay.
Because it's afraid to be this still for this long.
Yeah, that's
so
what
then I
did.
kind of sheepishly went back in the room, but I didn't have, the problem was gone now.
I was thinking that it was related to whatever originally set me off into this when I was a kid, 7 or 8 years old. Started wearing glasses. I keep thinking somehow it's touching some really early part of me, and that's what's bothering me.
Yeah.
I just can't.
And sometimes a person can, just melt all that away with the sway,
that's what I want to do. Okay, I
Uh-huh.
want to melt it away.
Yeah, and then sometimes EFT might be helpful.
Yes.
Or whatever. But
yeah.
Oh well, thank you. Your questions are fantastic, and I bet they're helpful for people getting little subtleties that can really help.
Thanks for asking me. I wanted to ask those. Good.
Cool. Well, thank you very much. I'll and San Juan Capistrano or different Capistrano?
San Juan.
San Juan Capistrano. Okay.
On the coast.
Yes. Yay. That's where all the swallows?
They say, but it's not so certain that they're really doing that anymore.
Oh, that's so sad.
I know.
Okay, well, we won't go into politics or environment.
Yeah.
We'll just send love to the birds and hope
yes,
they're doing well. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much, Meredith. Okay. Hi, Itana.
Hi.
Did I say that about right?
Aitana, yeah.
Aitana?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't think I asked you last time where you're from. But...
I'm from LA, but I actually am in Denver now.
Oh, cool. So you're just right down the road.
Yep.
We're in
and I
Fort Collins.
already signed up for the workshop in April, actually.
I saw that come through. Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad you'll be there.
Yeah, well, you inspired me.
Well, cool. Yeah. Well, it was really helpful to have your involvement last time. So, okay, so I sting a lot. Or how would you say that? What would we be talking about?
So I would say that when I think I'm relaxing my eyesight and my vision becomes more clear, all of a sudden my eyes will start stinging a lot, very uncomfortable, and then they'll water, and then of course I have to blink, and then everything is back to whatever it was. So I don't know if the stinging is a good thing, a bad thing, a thing that can just happen. But yeah, so I don't know. What does it mean?
Let's explore this. Okay. Now, at one point you said, and then I have to blink. What did you mean by that? Here, help me through. Let's do this together, and everybody follow along too. This whole believe it or not, it'll bring us all to a point of cosmic revelation here on the Bates method. I'm being a little playful, but you never know. So walk me into this. Your eyes, you're doing things that it gets more.
The first time when I started doing the long swing, but so I'll be looking outside, relaxing, swaying or swinging, and my vision, which is fairly bad, becomes very clear, and I can see much further than I can otherwise. And then my eyes will start tingling or stinging and start to water, and if I don't blink, I know that I'm forcing my eyes to stay open. And the whole point of the Bates method is to relax. So if I try to not blink, then I feel like that's the opposite of what I should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know why it hurts.
And now remind me your trajectory of how much correction?
My last prescription was negative 5.25 and negative 2.5 astigmatism in each eye.
Okay.
But sometimes I can see the mountains.
Pardon?
But sometimes I can see the mountains perfectly clear for a split second.
Okay. Now remind me, now were you the one who had LASIK?
No, that was Cassie.
That is, okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, so, so minus 0.25. Okay, so here everybody kind of tune into this for a second and close your eyes. I'll close mine too. And now if you're presbyopic, which means reading glasses, then you notice as you pretend with your eyes closed, as you pretend to bring something in, like a book or something, you can actually feel the discomfort in your eyes. And if you're nearsighted, like Etana, as you go out further and further away, maybe it's not exactly a discomfort, but it doesn't feel like you can really bring it in. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. So whatever your range is, just kind of play with that for a minute. And I'm going to assume that most of you have a range that's somewhat clear. And for some of you, that'll be, you have a very clear range, either near or far. And for others of you, it might just be a little more clear zone. But now close your eyes again and go further into your blur territory, which could either be moving in or moving out. And then come back to where it's the most clear. And just pretend, even with your eyes closed, I'm using my hand to kind of, or my fingers, to kind of guide me, just to pretend. And I can pretend my arm is 15 feet long if I need to. Okay. And so find that fairly clear spot, and then now go into the blur. And do you feel a change in your eyes, in your, okay, and then so go back to the clear spot, and now back to the blurry, back towards the clear. And now next time you go back towards the blurry, just notice if anything happens to your chest, to your breathing. Is there some tightness that develops as you go into the blur? Do you notice anything, Etana?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I was using my hand to do that, and before you said anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel confident that I will see whatever I can see close up, and then I have no confidence, and I'm sure I won't see anything further away. The top muscles of my eyes start to ache, and I totally was not breathing.
Yeah.
I stopped breathing further away.
Yeah. Okay. So I would say play with that, especially for a little while. And as far as the tingling, would you be content to let the tingling just come and go?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it means anything, or if it's like tingling when your foot falls asleep kind of thing. It feels like that.
Is it a tingling like kind of a vibrating or kind of like
I get that too, though.
What's that?
I get that also, but that's not what I'm asking. No, it's more like if your foot falls asleep, and then when it's waking back up, it's on pins and needles. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
well, I think one of the keys is to count everything as good, everything is interesting, and of course go to a doctor if you feel like, that's a caveat which I always need to say in each of these webinars is I'm not trying to be an eye doctor. I'm just trying to help all of us, including myself, remember our way back into relaxation, which is really good for the eyes and really good for the mind. So I think you're on the right track. Do you?
Yeah, my vision is much better than it was 6 months ago when I started. So
Awesome.
I know I'm on the right track.
Okay.
But you've done it longer, so of course I want to know what you think.
I think you're brilliant.
Oh, I thank you.
Yeah.
I think I am too.
All right. All right. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
And yeah, and just think about what the words that you used, that when you go out further, you're less confident that you're going to have clarity. And just think of all the wonderful metaphors, you know, which I think you've already thought about, but you know, keep stirring the mix, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks so much for your questions, Atana, and for last time too. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hi, Greg.
Nancy. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. And thanks for doing this. This is very helpful.
It's
I really
it's
identify
fun.
with Itana because I used to be -10 when I started. And I'm slowly improving. I do most things without glasses now.
Nice.
But when we pretended to look far, I could feel my eyes. I had my eyes closed, and I could feel them trying to see. And then we pretended to look near, and I'm like, oh, this is so comfortable. I can do this. I can read tiny print. But the far stuff is still really hard for me. So my question was going to be something about, I knew you came from a really strong prescription. How do you see yourself as a clear-sighted person? You've obviously changed your self-image there. But in the ensuing talk with the other people, I realized that I still have the belief that I have to work hard to see clearly. And that's something I need to try to loosen even more. I know, that if I relax, I can see better, but my body somehow thinks it has to try.
It's insidious, isn't it? That
Yeah,
the idea of working hard, and for some reason nearsighted folk have it mastered.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just keep chipping away at it. And I mean, I do EFT all the time. So
that's right. You're an EFT coach now.
Quite a bit. Yeah. So if you have any other suggestions for not thinking I have to try hard to be a success, that I can just let it happen, I love it, because I tend to overtry.
Okay. Well, let's just go with this for a second. Okay. Close your eyes, and everybody, not if you're driving, of course, close your eyes and just, kind of tune in to your body and your being a little bit, and just pretend that you're standing back from your own daily activities, and just pretend now, and this is each of us, we're just pretending that we're standing back behind ourselves, going through our day, and notice where you go, darn it, why is he or why is she doing it the hard way? It's like you want to go up and tap him on the shoulder and give him a kiss and say, hey, you don't have to do that. So, yeah. So just, I think for me, I've gone at least more and more towards doing things the easy way. I don't know that I can claim victory yet, but it's a journey, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and Dr. Bates says that's at the heart of blurry eyesight in any direction. I mean, he doesn't use those exact words, doing it the hard way, but very often those are the exact words. So anyway, really nice to hear from you, Nancy.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for being here, and all best wishes with your practice and all that you've got going.
Thanks, you too. Keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you. Okay. And you're in New York too.
I'm in New York State, about 2 hours north of New York City. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Well, thanks for being here, Nancy.
Yeah. Thanks again, Greg.
Okay. Hi, Keith.
Hi, Greg.
Okay. Now, were we talking earlier? Are you the same?
Yes, I'm the same one with the wavy swing.
The wavy swing. Yeah. Okay. You are the man. Okay. It sounded like you had a couple of cool questions.
Yeah, I was curious. I know we do the Bates method. How much is it all in our minds? Like, we really need to
Oh, I
believe.
love that question.
I don't know where I heard it from, but there's
Uh-huh.
something about some people with split personalities. Some personalities, their vision is clear, and then some personalities they have, it's blurry. So that tells me it can't be. It's got to be something with the mind.
Yeah. Well, let's slow down first for a minute with that story because it's so fantastic. And this was in Chicago that particularly it was observed. And I had the good fortune in September. I was hanging out with Ray Gottlieb at a conference that we had. I secured him as one of our key speakers. And he's an amazing man, really been around the block with natural vision improvement. And he's an optometrist, a retired one. And so, there's always been this story that you're telling, and I've never been able to find my way right into the middle of it. And he actually said when he was on a trip to Arizona, he knows everybody. He said he was able to hang out with this guy who particularly did a lot of testing with multiple personalities. And it was just real reassuring to hear that kind of secondhand like that. And so basically what you're alluding to, and this is really important, is that, here, I'll use my balloon here, is that, people with multiple personalities, and now all the guidebooks, they have a different terminology, but because they like to keep changing things. But, it's like some of you saw Sybil and all these things, presentations of how somebody coped with a lot of abuse. And sometimes what they did was they would literally, and if you're on the phone, I'm just squeezing this balloon to turn into one personality and then another personality and then another personality. And so what happens is that it depends on the person, but some of these personalities might not need glasses and some might need glasses, and they change personalities like that. And this optometrist said that some of these people would actually leave the house with a handful of glasses to fit every situation. So this is a really exciting thing because it means, and that's what you're thinking, right, Keith?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because now we can think, and again, close your eyes, everybody, if you like, because sometimes it's easier to imagine or pretend. But pretend that you're your best self, you're on vacation, you're so happy, you're surrounded with people that you love. I mean, even if you have to conjure them as pretend, just go there as far as you can. And then notice there's another extreme. You don't want to leave that place, but just for contrast, now go to a place where it's been a really hard day, you're really stressed out, things are about as discouraging as they possibly could be, and just now go back to the more expansive feeling, and now go back to the more contracted, discouraged feeling, and now go back to the expansive feeling, and pretend it's like a stuck car, that is stuck in the snow or the mud, and you try to go forward, you try to go backward, forward, backward, and there's something about exploring the territory that you finally get loose. And so how did that work for you, Keith?
Oh, I can feel my eyes tense up.
Uh-huh.
When I think about when I moved a lot, when I was about 12 or 13, I needed glasses because I moved a few times, and that was a stressful moment.
Mm-hmm.
And And I'm wondering if that was the reason why I have to wear glasses. Because of those days of being, 12 years old and new schools and stuff.
That's a very common tale. Did you know that?
No.
Very common backdrop for nearsightedness is moving. Because it's like, yeah, you can feel it. Close your eyes again, and everybody resonate with this. If you moved yourself or resonate with Keith, and close your eyes again, and imagine, you're in this town A, and it's like, everything's fine. You have all these friends. Everybody likes you. You feel safe, and it's familiar. And now all of a sudden, poof, Dad says, "Hey, we're going to move, kids," or however it's introduced. And, sometimes maybe parents aren't as skillful as they might be. So anyway, now you can feel all your muscles kind of contracted because they don't feel safe. And so some kids maybe adapt immediately and other kids maybe don't. And yeah, I think you nailed it, Keith.
Thanks, Greg. I be the greatest day of my life for one of them if I can see normal again.
Cool. Keep that thought.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks for coming on with your question. And I'll put you back to viewer. Okay, thanks, Keith. Here, I'll start talking in a moment, just in case you're finding your way back to the computer. Again, this is looked for the person who went as student and said glasses age 2. Wow, now 50, 2 Lasik surgeries. Originally, it looks like you got a result of 20/20 from the Lasik, and now it's 20/40, and a lazy left eye, which is now -3 diopters.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
I just read your what Laura transcribed for me about the Lasik and all that. Now, what's your do you mind saying your regular name or?
Of course, my name is Magda.
Magda? Okay. Welcome, Magda.
Thank you.
And could I ask where you're from?
Originally London, England.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I'm currently living in Jackson, Wyoming.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful spot.
It's very beautiful. I wish I could see it in the pristine way that, it's appearing.
Oh,
I do
wow.
try. But I mean, that's not the problem. I do try.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you raise a question. A lot of people that made comments mentioned Lasik, and it also bumps into other probably eye surgeries for some people, like cataracts and adjustments that people have made for presbyopia and things like that. So say a little bit about how you're feeling about all this.
I feel stuck is what comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
For a while, my eyes, I was one of the last people that had LASIK, 2 double LASIK operations. I was -11, I think, and -14.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was down to 20/20 and 20/40 for a couple of years. And I remember when there came a point, I for a while I could see perfectly, and I remember when suddenly muscles began to work, the muscles, the large muscles that are around, that circulate around the eyes, the
obliques.
I think so. No,
Sure, we'll call them the obliques. What the heck? Like this. Now, do you have, are you watching?
I was watching, and I went away for a second, and when you put me onto the panel, my screen, well, actually, no, I can't see you. Yeah, all I can see is a black screen with student on it.
Darn it, that must be you. I'm sorry.
I'm watching myself. I'm watching my label.
Darn. Oh, well. So I
Actually,
was
no,
just,
hold on. I can see you now. I can see you now. You're on the thumbnail, but I can see you.
oh, okay. Now click on the thumbnail.
Okay.
Does it give you any other options?
God. Switch to active speaker. Say something.
Hello.
Yeah, I can still hear you. Thank God.
Okay, well here
Well, I don't know. It's a cosmic joke. I'm staring at a thumbnail and I'm nearsighted.
oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah. So anyway, the oblique muscles kind of wrap around like this, top and bottom.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll get a little further away. And they're kind of like a tourniquet or a belt. And so they make the eyeball too long.
Yeah.
And then the eye doctor says, I have a solution. Originally it was glasses, but now the solution is Lasik, you know, making the cornea a little more flat. So it's not as much like a magnifying glass, so it doesn't as quickly make everything converge so that it can get all the way to the end of the longer eyeball. Okay, so now, did you have pretty good outcome from the Lasik?
Yeah, I was 2020 and 2040.
And you were happy, right?
I was ecstatic.
Okay.
I just
Okay. Well, we'll fix this in your mind, in your heart. Many people have found their way back. See, and then for some reason, let's say metaphorically, maybe some part of you still didn't want to see clearly. So it started. Did the drift happen suddenly, or?
It was gradual. I think it was stress related, but also, I mean, I could feel the muscles beginning to tense. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, I've never really felt these muscles before. And I felt as though I didn't know how to see. I didn't know how to use my eyes.
You know, that could be really cool. You know, like what they say, the expression, there's a book title back in the 70s or 80s, Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, not to be Mr. Pollyanna, but I think there's a silver lining here that you can sense those things about your eyes, which a lot of people can't. And also that you're saying, wow, I don't know how my eyes even work. In a way, that's really exciting.
Yeah, the door is open for the universe to show me, to teach me.
So okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
So now close your eyes for a minute, and other people can do this too, and you can kind of, you know, go with Magda on this, or maybe you have your own situation. I know there were a lot of people that had like things with cataract and a few glaucoma and different things. But now with your eyes closed, just imagine yourself going back to that time when things felt clear. And for Magda, you know, that was when you came out of the LASIK surgery. And it might have also been before you were, wow, did you say 2 years old?
2 years old.
Wow.
I never had a chance.
Wow.
I just...
So pretend that you can even pretend that at 1 year old you could see clearly. And maybe you couldn't, but just pretend. Can you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And pretend you're the baby that's looking around, moving around, exploring, and you can see totally clearly. Can you pretend that?
Yes.
Yeah, and other people can pretend for their own vision condition, find a point in time as an anchor and pretend that you're back there and pretend that you can see so clearly. And notice how something feels different when you pretend that. Something feels more relaxed. Is that true for you, Magda?
Yes, actually. There's this feeling of, rather than straining and kind of cranking my neck forward and peering as though I'm like with my eyes bulging out of my head, there's a sense of sort of relaxing and allowing, almost like relaxing back and allowing things literally to open, allowing
Cool.
it's almost like my eyes want to spread apart, or my I have this sense that, you know, when you I can't describe it, like when you're peering at something and everything narrows.
Mm-hmm.
Everything narrows, and rather like you're trying to reach that far point, and so you narrow everything down. And this is different. It's the actual
Cool.
reverse of that. It feels like it's opening and allowing things to sort of, almost like my eyes want to spread apart and my skull wants to sort of widen to, instead of peering, instead of, is that right?
Your skull can do that, right?
Uh,
Because it's a lot of bones that are actually, even though we don't think so, they're all in motion with each other, right?
yeah. Well, I do.
So-
I sing classical music, and
Oh,
sometimes when I finally realized that I could actually stretch my cheekbones apart and
cool.
wide, and it had the effect of also, maybe it was just the exercise, but it had the effect of making my vision better, at least temporarily. I know
Wow.
this sounds weird.
Okay. No, this is fantastic. So see, the more often you can get yourself in the zone that you're in right now, you know, and I teased you with a little visualization. Maybe you do that stuff like that on your own too. But then you just did this segue with your music, which, you know, that sounds really powerful, right?
I just have this sense that instead of peering at something, it's more a case of I need to open. It's rather like an open,
Wonderful.
let things in. Because I
Wonderful.
can't figure out why the heck I'm peering. And you know, when they
Yeah.
put the glasses on you and your vision, the parameters of your gaze get so narrowed. You're looking through the glass, and then everything is looking towards some point in the future, and everything is kind of narrowed.
Okay. So here, let's use you.
And it just feels as though it should be the opposite. Like,
Let's use you as our token palmer for the day. Would that be good?
sure.
Okay, so go ahead and palm. You know how to do that, right?
Yes.
Okay, and for anybody listening or watching, if you're watching, you can see me and just kind of wing it and do what I'm doing. And then if you're just listening, just put your palms over your eyes and just pretend that your palms are circulating a lot of love and healing energy. And then the longer they're there, the more you can feel that circulating into your eyes. You can feel the love and the healing circulating into your eyes. Okay, and then Magda, you said that you had a nice contrast. Instead of peering, it's like something was sort of naturally spreading apart. And now whoever's doing this for whatever cause or for whatever eyesight condition, just pretend that, like Magda mentioned, she had a lot of sense of things in her cheeks. So it could be in the sinuses, it could be the whole skull. But just pretend that things, it's almost like you could pretend that your whole skull is breathing, because it is. It's microscopically changing. And now what if you could let it go where it wants to go? And somehow that's hastening what Dr. Bates called all these strained type muscles. It's hastening and inviting all the muscles around the eyes as you breathe in and out, and you feel or pretend to feel the whole head, the whole skull kind of breathing. And it's like inviting, just bit by bit, it's inviting all those muscles to relax, expand, let go. Okay. And so that's just a short palming. And palming is always relaxing, and it's always valuable to notice. You might see a little more clearly now as you look around than before. I think you can take your classical music insight to the bank on this one, Magda.
So does it really have to do with opening rather than like opening your heart, opening your third eye, opening your consciousness? Is it like a letting in? Why is it?
Some of the terms that you use, it depends on the person, right?
Uh-huh.
Because some people might resonate with the idea of the third eye and some people might not. So, I always want to meet somebody where they live.
Of course.
But anyway, the answer, of course, is yes. I'd say yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, is that a little bit helpful? Because see yourself, it's like a little ways in front of you, there's a platform that you want to be standing on that I think you used the word stuck.
Yes, I did.
Okay. And you can kind of see and sense and feel that other place, and it feels unstuck. And it's like you just took a foray there a little bit with this things you were saying, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for bringing
Forgive
this.
me. May I just ask one other thing?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to spend a lot of time. But there might be other people with the same issue. How does one get the lazy eye to participate?
You spank it? No. Sometimes EFT. Because think about it. That's a really good question. I've had some success, doing EFT. Palming is always helpful. If you have a lazy eye, and a lot of people mean a lot of different things by lazy eye, but I'm assuming you mean more like amblyopia, where that eye just isn't participating as much, right?
Yeah.
Not that it wanders. Some people use...
It doesn't really wander so
Okay.
much. Just the right eye does most of the work, and the left eye just
Okay.
kind of
Well, that's a fantastic question, and a few people had questions about double vision and things. So I guess close your eyes again and imagine that you're using a tool. Well, actually, start with your finger.
Okay.
In fact, open your eyes and just do what a vision therapist would call tromboning, and kind of come in and out with your finger. Okay. And now cover your left eye and watch your finger go in and out. And this is not an exercise. This is you must do this in a relaxing way. Must. Gotta. Want it to be relaxing. Is it relaxing enough?
Yes.
Okay, and now switch. Cover the right eye. Okay. Okay, and now uncover both eyes and pretend that they can do this working together. They can a little bit, can't they?
Yes.
With practice, where you do one eye, the other eye, then both eyes, and then after you do that for a moment, you might want to palm just to give your eyes a break. And then repeat that through the day. And then there's other techniques, of course, that you can add to that.
Okay.
So
yeah, I have your CD collection, but I just haven't.
Great.
I haven't really embarked on it.
Here, I'll use that as a segue to pitch the CDs. And I don't currently have them as a downloadable, but I don't know. So do you like the program? You can be my pitch.
I actually I haven't embarked on it. I've listened to the first one.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
And I've read the pamphlet, but I haven't full throttle into it.
Okay. Yeah, well, it goes CD by CD, and you can tell from the titles, like the first one is See with Ease, and there are several tracks on it, and they're arranged to kind of, bring you more by heart and mind rather than by willpower. And the next one's Relax and Move, Reawaken Clarity, Mind and Body, Seeing It Through, and then Daily Vision Activators. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks so much, Magda.
Thank you. I had several intuitive insights as you were speaking. I won't verbalize them, but...
Awesome. Well, if you want to write me about them, I'd be happy to hear from you.
Thank you. I will. Thank you. God bless. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. And just for fun, where are you calling?
I'm in Miami.
Miami. Okay. Yeah. Well, welcome. And you ask, your question is what?
Is what to do with a floater that is in the center of the vision, is huge, and it changed shape all the time, and it's so nagging, it's so disrupting, and even now the other eye is perturbed because I just can't put both eyes the vision together because this is going on the whole day.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's a good question. Now, are you fairly nearsighted, or have you been?
Yes.
Okay.
I had RK many years ago.
Okay, back in the old days, huh?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And I have done some Bates method, but now with this floater, things are getting worse.
Okay. And is that from a detached vitreous?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I'll see if I can wrap this in a package that will also speak to, we won't get tonight to cataracts per se, but people with cataracts per se could listen to some of the other webinars that are recorded on the website. But still, I think we can wrap the cataracts in with some of these questions. So you've got a floater in the center of the vision. Okay. So close your eyes and think about, I was shown earlier with the balloon, how that muscle kind of wraps around the eyeball. And think about how that's been for decades, right? Has been kind of squished like that. And so what happens is it's hard for nutrients to get delivered through that because there's all these tiny blood vessels trying to deliver nutrients and oxygen through those tight muscles. And what's kind of weird is if you even relax the muscles a little bit, things really start to shift. So pretend, do you have your eyes closed now? Okay, so pretend now that you could relax the muscles a little bit and pretend that your eyeballs, can you kind of sense how they're a little elongated? And now pretend that you can feel them going back towards round, back towards round, back towards round, that the muscles kind of relaxing. And see those muscles, the reason they did this, Prince, see if you agree with me, is they're trying to keep you safe. You got glasses when you're pretty young, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And those muscles are just trying to keep you safe, like metaphorically. They were working their heart out, trying to make you feel safe and only see, you know, what you wanted to see. And then the eye doctor says, oh, I can help. So then the eye doctor forces you to see more.
Mm-hmm.
And then the eyes go, I still don't want to see. So they get tighter, and you can kind of feel that leapfrog going back and forth, right? Okay. So it gets harder and harder for the nutrients to be delivered. And now here's what you can do is give your eyes a lot of love. Tell them, because a lot of times, you know, we tell our eyes, come on, you're lazy, you know, get on board, but they've been working really hard, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So just tell them how much you love them, how much you appreciate them, and pretend they're like children, because they are. And let them feel all that appreciation, and send them with your mind, with your imagination, send them a lot of circulation of, you know, of energy, of blood, of fluids, of nutrients, of oxygen. Can you kind of pretend all that?
Mm-hmm.
The cool thing is you're pretending it, but you're also doing it. And now if you want, you can palm too. And you can even let that circulation, you were already circulating in your eyes. Now you can let that circulation come out your arms, through your elbows, through your forearms, through your wrists, through your palms, and going in and saturating and immersing all around your eyes, and then spreading out all into your brain, and then finding its way back into that circle. So now my question is, does that feel kind of hopeful? And then I want to say a couple more things about the particular floater. Does that feel?
It feels more relaxed.
Yeah.
The thing is that it's happened when it was an injury.
Oh, it was an injury?
Yeah, it's I got a massage, and then there was no face cradle. I turned my neck to breathe, and she pressed on my neck. And when I got out of the massage, I had a vitreous detachment, which is, I went to the doctor, and I saw the floater right then.
Okay, well, see, this is interesting. Now there's another dimension. And this is where I really like EFT, is, you know, in some ways you've probably forgiven her, but in other ways, you know, maybe you can forgive her more deeply. And I'm just guessing. I don't mean to be the expert of your feelings. Sure. But yeah. Oh, that sounds so sad, and I'm sure she felt awful too, huh?
I don't know. I never went back.
Yeah, I understand. But so some EFT might be helpful on that.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you're familiar with EFT, or you could track me down, or somebody else who does it. And let me just say a couple things about floaters, because a lot of people listening have floaters. And, you know, normally they're more just something that you get used to, but now which eye is it?
Left.
Okay. So your left eye has a floater that's right near the center of the vision.
Yes.
Okay. So things that I've heard the most testimonials on are drinking very pure water.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people find success with nutritional supplements.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go down and, like, there's a new one called Saffron 2020 that actually has saffron and supposedly helps with all kinds of things. And also Meyer Schneider, who's kind of a name in the eyesight improvement world, talks about, as you're looking out, pretending that you can look around the floater.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you're like mentally, physically kind of escorting it away.
Mm.
And I guess the key thing to know is that many people have had success reducing floaters or making them fully go away. The thing is, if you do swinging or if you do palming or whatever, that's going to help too. So anyway, that's just a little look into that. I hope that's somewhat encouraging.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, Prince. Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay. Hi, Salima.
Hi. Good evening.
Your voice sounds familiar. We just met on a phone coaching session.
Yes, and it was a wonderful session.
Or it was a Skype or Zoom. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for your very sweet note that you sent. Well, you played right into my hand. You said, please tell me about your CD set and how to use it. So I'll do that. And I promise I'll take other questions too that aren't just selling my products. But the CD set I created was what I wished I had when I was first learning this stuff, because I got like this big stack of books, which I was really nearsighted, and that's what nearsighted people tend to do. They tend to get lots of information, and then it's like, whoa, I think I'm going to fall over backwards with all this. So the way the CDs work is I tried to make a magic mix of a little bit of science, not too much, a little bit of logic, not too much, a lot of magic, a lot of, I could almost use words like placebo, where you're trying to activate that part of you. See, because drug companies think of placebo, it's a bad thing. We got to get out the placebo effect because we don't want to know about that. To me, I want to know about if 40% of the people responded to a placebo, I want to know why didn't the other 60? So that's kind of what the Bates method is it's a big placebo effect. But this is placebo in its highest meaning. So what I'm trying to do in the CD program, and when I work with people and at workshops and in our vision coach training, what I'm always trying to do is kind of make a magic mix for myself, because every time I present something, I want to, be there. I don't want to just be yapping. So I hopefully we can set a stage in the program or with coaching or however we do it. We can set a stage where we can feel things happening rather than try and manipulate them with our mind. And so I try and it's like a total of 7 hours. It's a total of, I think, 66 tracks. And so they're pretty clearly named, so you can find your way through them. And I just try to make it something that's always wrapped in, well, you already know I talk kind of slow, but I deliberately try and go at a rhythm that's, I don't want to say hypnotic, but very easy to take in, and I try to get somebody to consider something, make a model for it, and then experiment. And then, keep going through that rhythm of experimenting and finding and discovering, so that by the time you finish a CD or the next CD or the next CD, what I'm hoping is that now you've organically discovered and created the Bates method for yourself, rather than you're just reading, okay, let's see, I put my hand here, and I put my hand here, and then I do this for 20 minutes. Oh, wow, this is so boring, But instead, try to help somebody find out organically what's their way to do the Bates method. And then, if I could say, is that helpful?
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Do you show us how to move, like how to sway, or?
Well, there is a little booklet with da da da. And it has a lot of pictures of
Okay.
different things that are going on.
Okay, good. Thank you.
And we found the cheapest model that we could. It's me. Yeah. But I followed all the instructions. I did what I was supposed to. So yeah, is that kind of helpful?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, and I'll be creating some new things in the next few months that I'm kind of excited to get going, and some of those will be things that are presented more by video, more online. But the thing about these is, as you've noticed tonight, a lot of what we're doing is closing the eyes anyway, right? Yeah. Okay. And then here, I'm going to do this really quick, and then I'll take another question, and then we'll try and wrap up. Share screen. Advanced sharing. No. Okay, here we go. Events. Yeah, I just wanted to show you. This is my website. Can you see that, Salima?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Okay, I've got it all covered up with all my dialogues. Okay. Yeah, so this is just showing that we've got a workshop in Fort Collins. It's a Saturday, Sunday workshop. These workshops are really fun. And a lot of people say afterwards that, wow, this is the most relaxed I've felt in like 30 years, because we're, to relax the eyes, you have to relax the mind. And the certified natural vision coach, it's a training and a certification that goes for a total of about 3 months. We start out in person, and then we meet like every week, and then people do co-coaching, and it's a really powerful coaching model. A lot of people kind of use it as a pivot point in their own life for, wow, what am I doing here at middle age or whatever, and what's next for me? So anyway, if you register early, it's really helpful to me. So there's a discount for a little less than 2 more weeks. So thanks for being a segue on that, Salima.
Oh, you're welcome. I was really interested. I really wanted to find out what your series was. Thank you.
Okay. And yeah, so you experienced some of the coaching. We just did that one session, and I think you said you were going to try some more.
Definitely,
But
for sure.
any comments you would say to people of what's that's like? Or
Well, I found that you were just able to tune in completely to me individually and everything I needed. So it was a wonderful experience. I would recommend it to everybody and all of my friends, and I already have. So anybody I talk to.
okay.
I just had a great session. I only had the one, but you really gave me a lot for that session. It was very good. Thank you.
Well, thanks. It was a pleasure working with you. And now the check's in the mail for your little testimonial.
Right. No, he didn't ask me to do it, everybody.
No, it's nice to see your name that you're here. So
Okay, thank you.
yeah. Okay. And yeah. So thanks so much, Salima.
You're welcome, and thank you.
Greetings, Steve.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. And just for the record, to say where you're from.
I'm from Philadelphia.
All right.
Originally from New York City.
Uh-huh. Okay. And what would be your thing to look at tonight? Pun intended, to look at.
Well, I've been nearsighted since early in high school, and I've done the Bates method off and on. I've been doing it fairly faithfully lately, but I feel very stuck. I feel like I've reached a ceiling, and I don't feel I can go much farther. Sometimes I have good days where I see a little better, and then I have really bad days where I feel like I'm walking around underwater.
Okay, so here, I wind up telling everybody, close your eyes. But here, let's try that again. Okay, so close your eyes and just think, you use the word stuck. I feel kind of stuck. And just as you see, there's always forks in the road. Just imagine that for some reason, some blessed reason, you could be the person that discovers the right fork in the road, that now suddenly things become more easy. And you're following this new fork in the road and you're going, wow, this is not right. It's not this easy. No, this is not what Dr. Bates was talking about. And then you realize it's a road, and then Dr. Bates is standing there and he said, yes, this is what I'm talking about. And can you is that kind of fun even to imagine that?
It's a funny thought.
Yeah. Yeah. I love a book quote or a book title. Wayne Dyer, you know that name, right? Or
I think so.
Okay, from Louise Hay from Hay House Press.
Mm-hmm.
And one of his book titles was, he turned around the common phrase and he says, you'll see it when you believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think the universe turns that way. And what's weird is we're a society of show it to me, prove it to me, and then I'll buy it. But it's almost like that's backwards. It's almost like we have to take this leap of faith and plant our flag where we want to go, and trust that once we've really done that with our mind, that our mind's going to figure out how to get there.
Mm.
And here, I'll tell one of my other favorite kind of metaphors or analogies. Everybody has different feelings about Tony Robbins. Sometimes he's a little bit over the top, but he's helped a lot of people. And Tony Robbins, that name, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the great self-help guru. Well, he talked about a thermostat, and he said he says we all have a thermostat for what our expectation is, or what we think we deserve, or like how much money, how well we can see, whatever. And what he suggests is that, now the engineer in me, I got to tape my mouth shut so I don't say all these engineering things about thermostats. But you set it somewhere, and sometimes it, when you set the heat or the cooling, sometimes it'll overshoot a little bit, right? But it always comes back to the set point. And so what he's saying is, we have this set point, and in this case, how well we can see, and there's something organic deep in our hearts that does not think that can change. And so the thing is, that's supposed to be the sound of the thermostat clicking upwards. Maybe we can change it, right?
Well, I would certainly agree with what you're saying.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So anyway, that's a little bit of a tease of hopefully down the path of stuff that you're looking at. So.
Well, I was noticing about an hour ago when you were talking with someone else about the mental aspect of it, I noticed that sometimes I look up and things seem very clear.
Cool.
And they'll stay clear until I realize how clearly I'm seeing. And then
wow.
And then it's gone instantly. It gets
you might really like using some EFT. It's so efficient at getting a person out of the linear and into the flow. Because it sounds like you're dancing with it, Steve.
Well, I've been noticing this for years.
Yeah.
What I just described.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, so I guess I probably better wrap up here, but that's a good thing to close on is, you know, the feeling that like, okay, how do I take the next step? And I hope that gives you a couple of clues, and take them into your dreams and vow to wake up with some surprising answer.
Okay.
And you never know.
You never know.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, thanks for coming on, Steve. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. And here I'll actually unmute the people I've got here handy. I've got Laura, I've got Matt, I've got
Hello.
Prince, I've got Salima, I've got Steve, I've got Student, which was Prince, I think. Anyway, it's nice to say goodnight to some people that are really there. I can't unmute everybody at once because the system doesn't work that way. But anyway, thanks, my little subgroup. And
Good night, Greg. Thank you very much.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, I wish everybody clear steps towards clear vision. And let me know any way I can help. And I hope to see maybe some of you at the workshop or at the Vision Coach training. And thanks a lot for listening tonight. This is recorded, and I'm going to make it available in some fashion. So I'll post that, and I'll let everybody know. So, okay, over and out. This is Greg Marsh, bettereyesightnow.com. And
thank you very much. Thank you for showing us the way and for encouraging us.
Oh, very welcome. Very welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.